California, USA. And I've got my eye on our core president, Dave Minion, who's coming up here right now to give us the announcement and bring us up to date on whatever it is. Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you.
Good morning. Remind me to turn that up. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Good. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Michigan Valley. I feel like it's in my eyeballs. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Michigan Valley. We are a new thought community whose focus is basically the power of positive thinking and the law of attraction. We appreciate you all being here. We are happy that you are choosing us this morning. No matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. And we are happy that you are here. So, as you know, it's the first Sunday of the month. So I always like to start the month with a bit of knowledge that I like. And this one stuck out to me. So it is, the seeds of thought we plant today determine the harvest we shall reap tomorrow. That's obviously a play on you reap what you sow, but I thought it was very apropos for our teaching. And also in celebration of May, the feeling of that energizing, springing forth. I have a new affirmation for everybody to repeat with me. This one's going to be a little bit different. So this one I'm going to need some participation with. So this is how it's going to go. Please repeat after me. I speak with clarity.
I speak with clarity.
I live with purpose.
I live with purpose.
And I stand rooted in truth.
And I stand rooted in truth.
All right, now let's do the hands. So first, hands up. I speak with clarity.
I speak with clarity.
I live with purpose.
I live with purpose.
And I stand rooted in truth.
And I stand rooted in truth.
All right, we're going to do it one more time. And this time when you say stand, I want you to make noise. Either stomp your feet, clap your hand, do something. Just bring some energy. I speak with clarity.
I speak with clarity.
I live with purpose.
I live with purpose.
And I stand rooted in truth.
And I stand in truth.
That's right. That's what I like that one. I can't wait for this one all month.
Yeah.
All right. On to the good stuff. So first off, it is May. Do we have any May birthdays in the house?
Any birthdays?
Any May birthdays? You're going to get a song.
Wait a minute, Beth.
Betsy?
Come on.
Betsy, would you just shyly raise your hand? All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Betsy. Happy birthday to you.
And to celebrate Betsy's birthday, we're having a potluck today.
In your honor.
We have a potluck, the first Sunday of every month to celebrate us just being here, birthdays, and just the start of a new month. So this is going to be a good one. Please silence your cell phones. As we know, they are contagious. There we go. One goes off, they all go off. Upcoming events, if you look inside your bulletin, you will see there is an insert that has all of our upcoming events, community events, all that fun stuff. Make sure you attend some of those. They're going to be great. In particular, we have one coming up this Wednesday. That is the Drum Circle. That is here at 6:30. It's open to everybody. We have drums available, and it's facilitated by our very own White Feather, who will hopefully speak about it for a second and tell us all about it.
Certainly not, brother.
Dwayne, stop it.
You know, I find myself today, as I told my buddy yesterday, I'm the old guy drumming these days. And I'm going to keep drumming until the casket drops. Because that's my life force. When you drum, it brings you the energy of life. You know, your feet just seem to sink right down to Earth Mother Gaia, and you can feel it. So I want you to come on out this Wednesday because we've got a lot to offer. We've got the Central Drum, Sister Bear, the chief of the tribe down there, and Pachanga will be there. My dear buddy Cliff Cripes from our Twisted Trees project. We have moved on to the last round of Menifee's Got Talent, by the way. So we'll be here playing some more music for you, and then we'll end it all off with a sound band. So come on out, bring your neighbors, bring the kids. Especially I inspire everyone to bring a young child with them. This is where it starts. This is where the anchor comes in at going, no, I think I'll go drumming at the drum circle. So I'll see you guys there on Wednesday night. Peace.
And for the deal, we asked a $10 love offering. It's not mandatory, but we just asked that because we think it's a very good price. You can't get a sound bath for under $30 nowadays. So you get sound bath, drum circle, and live music. Come on, man. You guys gotta come.
Really.
It's amazing.
Wow.
All right, that's this Wednesday, May 7th at 6:30 here in the center. Make sure you stay after service. We have a potluck today. Also, next week, our speaker is going to be Reverend Jim Wyatt. We all know Reverend Jim. And his talk, I'm confused about. I cannot wait to ask him about. It is entitled, Why New Wineskin? I saw a lot of confused faces, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. But it's Reverend Jim. You will have to come to find out what he's talking about, because we're all curious. Why new wineskin? We'll see how that goes. If you'd like to become a member, there's blue membership forms over there on the front table. If you have a prayer request for the week, you can place it in the box underneath the portrait of Ernest Holmes over there. Visit our website at CSLMV.org, like us on Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And before I intro Eloise today, please repeat with me. Open minds.
Open minds.
Open hearts.
Open hearts.
Open arms.
Open arms.
Open at the top.
Open at the top.
Thank you all. Have a great week.
No, I mean.
Oh, turn it up. Yeah.
Up here, not knowing what my chant is. Holy smokes. This morning, this beautiful morning, as every day is a new experience, a new possibility filled with excitement. And we create the excitement because we have within us a divine spirit, that divine excitement. That is God. And sometimes we are at loose ends, unsure of what our next step will be. And then we find the power within, that divine presence within that guides us, that shows us the way. And we often think, where did that come from? Where did that idea come from? Where did that mystical, magical thought come from? And that's the Spirit, the God within, that each one of us has, because that's all there is. God is all there is. And we're part of that. And we use it to our best advantage, or we don't. And that's our choice. I know every morning I get up and say, I live in gratitude, I live in gratitude, I live in gratitude. And I am so grateful. And in my gratitude, I release my word into the law of mind, knowing this is the truth. We are the truth. We are the divine spirit. And together we say,
Yes.
So it is.
Thank you, White. Thank you.
Wow.
And now it's time for a reading from the Science of Mind textbook. Well, I've misplaced mine. I don't know where it is. I think I left it here someplace. And if you find it, it's all marked up and got lines through it, yellow pieces. But it was fortunate that I lost that or overlooked it when I left, because I discovered another book that is a compilation of Ernest Holmes' writings. And I thought I would read from that today, and it is very appropriate. At least for me, I don't know about you, but Ernest Holmes writes in the chapter entitled Living with Fear. And he says, fear is the great enemy of mankind. It is impossible for a person to do his best if he is filled with anxiety. We are speaking of morbid fear, the type of fear that devitalizes us mentally, emotionally, and physically. Well, the way to get rid of fear is through the cultivation of faith. And if you don't think those two words, fear and faith, are difficult for a guy without a front tooth. Fear, faith, founded on the thought that God is all there is. If we learn to see God in people, in circumstances and situations, we shall find him. Seek, and ye shall find. When we turn in complete confidence with a simple, childlike trust and faith to life itself, it will always respond to us. It does not matter what the history of any evil experience may have been, or how long we have harbored it. We've harbored our resentment, our fear, and our doubt. In every moment when we turn from it, it will depart from us. You see, eternity is here and now. God is everywhere. In doing this, we shall be making the best bargain we have ever made, for we shall be swapping fear for faith, doubt for certainty, hell for heaven. It is destined that we shall all do this sooner or later, so why delay? The day of our freedom from fear, this is the day we accept that kingdom, which is forever given. This is the day that we should complete clearance from all of our yesterdays. This is the day that God has made. Let us be glad in it. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Bill. I just want to say that this is the only center, I promise you, that has chanting and that has Native American beautiful music. And I know we didn't get a chance to clap for Eloise because of the meditation, or for White Feather. So let's have a big hand for them, because stunning, just beautiful. So we're going to do another chant that you can sing along to. This is from our friend Carl Anthony. Anybody know Carl? He's, a few of you know. He's just an amazing guy. And he wrote this chant. And so I will do the calling, and Cahill and you can do the responding, okay?
Still my mind,
Still
talented and wonderful husband of 37 years, Mr. Barry Cahill. Let's have a big hand for him and lovely Justice Michael. Just keep on talking. I'm always, and I'm not just saying this, I know I say this often, but I'm constantly amazed by Barry. Not that I'm biased, because I am biased, but it's also the truth. He has so much knowledge. Every morning we sit for coffee and we sit there with the cats, and he's always telling me something that I didn't know before. Okay, I'm finished, Eddie. But anyway, let's have a hand for Mr. Barry Cahill.
Thank you, honey. Oh, that's good and loud. Okay. So the title of my talk today is Center of the Cyclone, Finding Inner Peace in a Turbulent World. When Delene was 7 years old, her mom walked into the room and said, "Delene, your room looks like a cyclone struck it." And like any 7-year-old, she said, "What's a cyclone struck it?" I think it's fair to say we are living in turbulent times. Politics, wars, climate change, environmental issues, hurricanes, cyclones, floods, and wildfires. It seems nowadays we can't get the water thing right. We either got too much or too little. Cyberbullying on social media, and these ever-increasing complexities of our modern world. Perhaps you have your own personal issues that make you feel like you're being blown about by a hurricane and a cyclone. Maybe things that would have been non-issues decades ago. Yeah, my piece of crap computer went down again. Did we really worry about those kind of things back in the 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s? No, we didn't. Many of us, especially as we get older, long for the good old days, for simpler times. But it seems highly unlikely that things will get simpler, at least on the level of human civilization, because the human mind, being the way it is, can't help but make things more complex. And guys, I'm going to go back to my other classes, because this book is too far away for these and too close for these classes. Meaning, mighty, mo. Okay, we'll go with these again. That's a little better. Notice I have two pairs of glasses that look almost identical. I can't tell them apart without my glasses. It seems highly unlikely that things will get any simpler. Because we tend to, with the human mind and ego, want to complicate things. And there's this insatiable appetite for more. More money, more buildings, more knowledge, more muscles like Arnold. We want to pass more laws, buy more stuff, more. This is the song of the ego. But not only that, it seems that in spite of the warnings of our best and brightest experts in science, and the constant things they tell us, we as a society seem unwilling to make even the slightest changes, let alone any sacrifice for the greater good of all. What's a human being to do? Well, first of all, take a deep breath. We all know from the science of mind, and perhaps other teachings, that there is a part of us that is above the chaos. Every night when we are in deep fourth stage sleep, there is no thinking. There is literally no mental activity. At least for a few hours a night, no problems. Because we've stopped thinking about it. Our problems. As a religious science teacher years ago told me when I first got into this, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name, it was decades ago, and he was a guest minister. But he said something really insightful that stuck with me for years. He said, the mind is a wonderful servant, but it is a terrible master. Eckhart Tolle put it this way. The mind is like a tool. When you're finished with it, you put it away. You wouldn't say, take a drill, make a hole in a piece of wood, and say, okay, that's nice. And then carry the drill around with you all day going, bzz, 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 making holes and everything, would you? That would be rather foolish. But yes, that's exactly the kind of things people tend to do with their minds. When they're finished using the mind for, say, creative problem solving, rather than set the mind aside and just be, the mind starts stirring up its incessant chatter and thus creating more problems for its owner. Remember, you are not your mind, you have a mind. If our minds were a house guest, they wouldn't last 3 days, which, as Ben Franklin once so famously quipped, is about the time when fish and guests start to smell. Yes, we all know we live in turbulent times, but is it possible that we make our own little slice of reality even worse by mulling it over, thinking about it, talking about it, complaining about it, worrying about it, getting angry about it, and stewing in the sauce of our own negative thinking? I believe that's exactly what we do. Yes, there are problems. There are things out in the world that need to be dealt with, no doubt about it. And yes, we make them worse with the mind. Since we become what we think about, we're going to get more of the same. As he said in the reading, the seeds we plant today are the crops we reap tomorrow. The truth is, the world will continue turning, whether or not we stew about it. And people in positions of authority will probably continue to do things for, shall we say, less than altruistic reasons. You know that old song, money makes the world go round. And I don't mean to sound fatalistic, but in my lifetime, I've seen some really incredible positive changes. The civil rights movement, women's rights, a broader acceptance of the LGBTQ community. Hey, how about this one? No smoking indoors or on airplanes. That's a very positive change, you know? Yeah, we still got a long way to go, but I believe we have also come a long way in a relatively short period of time. But in some areas, don't you think sometimes human civilization seems bent on self-destruction? And I won't go down the laundry list, but if you watch news, you know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. Human civilization has always been turbulent. Think of the Roman Empire. Think of the American Civil War. Boy, there's an oxymoron, huh? Civil War. That was a good one. Or how about the Great War? And if that wasn't enough, let's have another World War. We're going to have to call it World War II and change the name of the Great War to World War I because now we got two of them. There really were no good old days. Things have changed, but the problems remain. They just seem to be getting bigger because they're being magnified by technology and the increase of population on the planet. Now, knowing all of this can actually be quite liberating. Huh? If you are willing to accept our current reality and to see it as it is, and for what it is, a symptom of the human ego. Now, by accept, I do not mean, and I want to be really clear about this, sit idly by and do nothing. I'm going to meditate my problems away. If you feel called to action, yes, by all means, take some action. But to resist the situation mentally, and here's the dividing line. Here's the situation, here's you. Now what do I do? To resist the situation mentally and emotionally, to get all worked up and stressed out about it, does nobody any good, especially yourself. This is why people have strokes and heart attacks. They get all stressed out about stuff that's beyond their control. So how do we get beyond it? How do we accept it? Well, first of all, we need to go to the center of the cyclone, the place where peace, where all creative solutions originate. And the good news is that's already who you are. At your essence, that's who you are. It's not something you have to go out and get. It's who you are. Acting out of fear, worry, frustration, anger will only give you more of the same. I'm sure we can all think of examples of this in our own lives. But any truly creative person will tell you that the mind plays only a secondary, minor role in the act of creation. So if you want to create a better world, thinking about it, stewing about it, is not the solution. How many of you have heard of Napoleon Hill in his famous book, Think and Grow Rich? It's like one of the best sellers of all time. He talks about a man in there who was paid by a major corporation to basically sit in a dark room. Why did they pay him to do this? Because when he would sit in a dark room, he could come up with creative solutions. If they were working, for example, on a new invention, a new machine, but they just couldn't get it over the finish line, they would tell this man, okay, now here's what we've got so far. Okay, so he would sit in this dark room, lights out, with nothing but a desk, a pen, and a pad of paper. And he would sit there and he'd say, okay, I'm thinking about the machine, okay, here's what's going on, here's where the stumbling block is. And then he would ask a question, what's the solution? And then he would shut his mind down and listen. And time again, he would start getting a flood of ideas, writing them down so fast he could barely turn the pages fast enough to get his ideas down. Then he would go to the engineers and say, try this. And it worked. Time and time again, this is what this man did. They paid him good money to do this. That's all he did. He didn't get out there and tinker around or, put a wrench to it or anything. He just came up with solutions. In my own life, being a songwriter, sometimes I'll come up with a good idea for a song, but I just can't quite figure it out with the brain. So I will sit there and close my eyes I use a computer now, not a pad of paper, and I'll say, okay, what wants to happen here? And I'll start hearing a melody. And a lot of times the melody is as if someone else were singing it, complete with words, and I'm typing as fast as I can to get them down. It's amazing what the divine intelligence has to offer up. As Ernest Holmes put it, the founder of our teaching, there is a power for good in the universe, emphasis mine here, and you can use it. You can use it. It is there. And I would go a step further and say, not only can you use it, it is who you are. If we can get our minds to quiet down long enough, an amazing flood of creative solutions will come forward. Now, for today's talk, we want to focus on inner peace in a turbulent world. So, as opposed to thinking about tangible things that we might want, such as a new car, a better job, a fulfilling relationship, a healing of another relationship, today we're going to do this little exercise for inner peace. Remember, the peace which passeth all understanding resides within us. So how do you get to it? Well, first of all, acknowledge that you can, because others have. You can live in the eye of the cyclone. No matter what's going on around you, you can come to a still place in the middle. Second, quiet the mind. And the best way to still the mind is by following the breath. It's interesting, you can't think random worrisome thoughts while you're focusing on your breathing. We're going to try this in a minute. It is the essential foundation of all meditation practices, watching the breath. No matter what the religion, you start by watching the breath. So let's do this. Let's just breathe in. And as you're breathing in, almost like feel the air entering your body. Feel your lungs expanding. The mind will start to pick up thoughts. Let them go. And stay centered on the breath. Now feel into the body as you're breathing. Don't think about it, just feel into it. You can either start with the extremities like the hands and feet, or you can start at your core, at your heart, for example. And feel the life force in your entire body. You may feel a tingling in your hands that you didn't notice before. That is your life force. And feel your body, your entire body is one continuous energy field. Thoughts will come and thoughts will go, but just feel into it. Now you are at the center of the cyclone, where infinite peace emanates from. And from this place, let us affirm what it is we want, which for today's purpose is inner peace amidst all the turmoil. We can see all this stuff going on around us. Just let those winds blow and stand in the center. Abide in the peace that passes all understanding. The world will continue turning. The human world will continue spinning all of its webs. But we don't need to buy into it emotionally. We can abide in a place of peace as a witness to all the goings on, and even as a witness to ourselves, witnessing these goings on. Good news is, you can practice this any place, any time, even while driving. Now don't close your eyes, obviously, when you're driving. But you can just focus on your breath, feel into your body. And if you're finding yourself really stressed and pressed about something, then yes, go to a quiet place where you can close your eyes and really meditate. And from this place of inner peace, real solutions to your problems will begin to appear. Let's just give you an example here. Say you just had a very unsettling argument with a friend or relative about the current state of political affairs. Not all that uncommon today. You both walked away in the house with nothing resolved. You feel like that other person is an idiot. And it gnaws at you all day long. Because this was a good friend, let's say. So what do? Well, you take a few deep breaths and feel in the body. Also, there's another thing you can add to this, which Vincent Ho Chin taught me years ago. He's a Taoist master. Sometimes when you're really stressed, you might feel heat or tension in a particular part of the body. For me, it's always right here. But sometimes it's up here in the temples. It might be in your shoulders or your neck. And you hold your tension there. Well, what do? You breathe into that area. Just let that tension go out. And it may take several breaths if you had a particularly troubling incident. But just do that. Watch what happens. Think about this incident again, and that tension will be less. Let it go a few more times. Think about the incident again, and you'll notice the tension is almost non-existent. A couple days later, it may come back. Keep repeating this process and release that stress, release that energy. It's amazing. And the nice thing is, from this deep place of peace, you will come up with a solution to heal this relationship. You may feel compelled to have a conversation. Or you may just let it go on your end. Maybe you'll both agree not to talk politics again. But if the answer comes from this place of deep peace, and not from the ego, chances are very good that the issue will be resolved in a satisfactory manner for both parties. You may remember the argument as time goes on, but it won't have that emotional charge to it. It'll be just a memory, not a big emotional deal. Mahatma Gandhi said this. I think this is a wonderful, one of the most brilliant things. And he said a lot of them. Be the change that you want to see. Now, we all want peace on earth. We sing a song every day, every service. And, any sane person will want peace on earth. And this can only come about when the vast majority of people have that deep, abiding inner peace. If the entire species is in ego-based upset most of the time, we will continue to get more of what history has given us thus far. We will just keep chasing our tail, and around the world goes. Remember that old hippie bumper sticker from the 60s? Posed the question, what if they gave a war and nobody came? As if somebody was throwing a party called war. Well, I submit to you that if every human being on the planet had deep inner peace, nobody would come to the war party. And the guy throwing the war party would simply be looked at as ridiculous. Why would we want to do that? Peace on earth does indeed begin with inner peace. And when enough people reside at the center of the cyclone, others will begin to follow. Remember slavery? Aside from a few gangs on the planet, it's outside the law. It has been illegal for all intents and purposes for a century. And yet, only 160 years ago, it was a reality in this country. And given the scope of human history, that's a blip on the radar. We had to fight a war to eliminate it, but enough people saw it as immoral and were willing to do whatever was necessary to change the status quo regarding slavery or smoking on airplanes. We are making progress. I'm optimistic that in our lifetime, or even the next generation perhaps, humanity will come to look at military aggression in the same way. When enough people have the consciousness to simply not participate in that kind of insanity, it will be impossible to have war. Now think, for example, in the Ukraine-Russia situation today. What if all the Russian generals and soldiers told Putin, "Are you nuts? You really want to do that? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be a part of it. I refuse to be a part of it." Well, that plan would have just died a very quick death then, wouldn't it? I believe that in spite of the headlines, the trend of human consciousness is always upward. We've had our fits and spasms along the way, but I believe, like the stock market in some good years, it's kind of one of these. It generally goes up, but now and then we have to have a little setback to kind of readjust and reset our course. But in the meantime, practice inner peace. Blessed be the peacemaker, a quote from Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount, one of his most famous. Now, of course, to be a peacemaker, one must first have inner peace. And that peace is always available to you like the calm in the center of a storm. We can enter that state anytime because that is who we are as spiritual beings. Infinite peace, infinite wisdom, infinite joy, infinite love is all the core reality of our humanity. We are not anger, frustration, worry, fear, or hatred. These are conditioned responses of the ego. And here's the good news, when they arise, life is sending you a message. And that message is, find your center, find your inner peace, go there now. Release and let go. Forgive. Namaste. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do a song that is not ours. Guitar first. Sean Galloway is a Nashville singer-songwriter, and he has a beautiful video that goes along with this. And you can look it up on YouTube, I Choose Love. Listen to the lyrics on this, I think this is meaningful every day.
So let us pray. Let us go within. And let us feel that deep presence within us. That is who we truly are. That is our connection with the divine. And from this place of deep peace, joy, love, wisdom, strength, we give thanks for everything in our lives. Give thanks for all the teachings, all the lessons we've learned. And we give thanks knowing that as we go forward in this life, our journey will be forever upward to a higher place, to a more connected place with God, with ourselves, and with our fellow sentient beings. As St. Francis said, if there was one prayer, thank you would be enough. Let us release into the universe this gratitude with full expectation that God's will for us is good, and our will for ourselves is to be connected to that good. And so we say, and so it is. So it is.
And now it's time for our offertory. And Eloise would like to say a word or two. And then
Uh-oh, we better lower that mic.
I'd like to say a word. And my first word is, I am so rich.
I am so
I am
rich.
so rich.
I am so prosperous.
I am so prosperous.
I give and receive abundantly.
I give and receive abundantly.
Which is true. What you give out comes back to you in so many ways. That has been my experience in my life, and I truly believe that is the way to live. The more you give out, the more you comes back to you. It comes back to you abundantly. And today we have Gail, our usher, who will be coming around accepting your gifts, your tithes, and we are so appreciative as we are members of this center, and we want to keep it going and keep it prosperous. And we also have Dave in the back in the sound booth, where you can bring your cards or debit cards.
card reader.
Because he has a card reader. However, wait till after the service to see Dave. He gets confused when he's trying to take money and trying to put pictures, you know.
I'm easily confused.
Yeah. Thank you, and now we're going to all sing,
I am so
I am
blessed.
so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed.
help to keep this center going. And we know that you send love with your blessings. And so it is.
So it is.
All right, now, I'm not sure where we're going, but that was a great service today.
Yes, what a peace song.
We're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna do our peace song. So if you'd like to stand and join circle, or jump in a circle, that's fine. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But here we go with Let There Be Peace on Earth.
And as you're standing there right now, let us affirm something is wonderful. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called love.
It is this thing called love.
It is this thing called inner peace.
It is this thing called inner peace.
It is this thing called prosperity.
It is this thing called prosperity.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
And thank you, my fellow human beings, for being here today.
Thank you, fellow human